quiera aprender a bailar, también el que quiera ver presentaciones, porque aquí va lo mejor de lo mejor viene este congreso. Así que algo que no se pueden perder. Y claro, el show de Fernandito estará allá con ustedes.
Coral e Orquestra, Cristo, o Vencedor. Ouça agora os hinos e a mensagem de poder e unção. Presidente, Pastor Uriel de Jesus.
Ou fin perdi toute la raison pour tomber, déballer, là où aimer.
Now, the views and opinions expressed during RealBlackTalk.com do not necessarily reflect those of the staff and management of CCTV, the Cambridge, the community, the television, anybody else. The views and opinions expressed are of those who are talking. So if I'm talking, then they're my views and opinions. Hold me responsible.
You know, just joining us, this is MaximizingProgress.tv, formerly known as HighTechFever.tv. I'm your host, Joe Sponson. My guest today, Sean Broderick, is the Executive Director of Techstars Cambridge.
Good evening. Welcome to Crime Time. I'm Frank Pasquarello. Public.
Hi there. We're in a different setting tonight. Welcome.
In case you haven't noticed,
we are in the radio lab. And why are we in the radio lab?
Why are we in the radio lab, Susan?
Because they're redoing the studio, the TV studio, and it's going digital.
So even though you might miss better shots of us, it'll be well worth it for the rest of your life. In about another time.
I want to be able to see your face, Michael. I can't. I mean, you're obstructed with a microphone.
Can't we move this away more?
Yeah,
I think
we can.
Who cares about hearing?
Okay, maybe I should go over here. Okay, there. He said don't talk right into it, so we're not. Hi there, this is A Human Among Humans. Aha. And we'd like to start by reading a poem of Michael's. Help me be free. Involuntary cries to the Lord are deeper than any sounds I've heard. I imagine their primal words singing us to soar like birds.
What do you think?
It's beautiful. It's profound.
Is that true for you, or for me, I discovered, I think, before I even knew what I was saying, Lord, Lord, help me. Do many people do that?
Oh, I remember when I did that and my cries were heard. Something happened in my life very dramatically.
We want to know, don't we? Don't we, Columbia? Yes? What? Tell us.
I was working in a mental institution. I was charting on a patient. It was my time to go off. And a friend that I hadn't seen for years had gotten a job there. I wasn't in contact with her, but when she came on, I was delighted. But right before all that happened, I was feeling like I was numb inside, like I was crumbling, like there was nothing left to my life. I could feel my life sliding away inside of myself. And I sent out this involuntary cry, really screaming, please, if you are there, please help me. I'm losing it. And my friend came, and she had the most beautiful, radiant look on her face. And I said, "What happened to you?" Her fret lines were gone. She always used to worry, and they were gone, disappeared. Her eyes were clear. Her face was filled with light. And she said, "Well, I met this woman named Angeline, and she's helped me tremendously." And I had been looking for a guide, help, but I couldn't find anything. And I worked all around psychiatrists, social workers, but I couldn't find anyone that I felt that I could trust. So I met Angeline, and the rest actually is another beautiful story. It changed my life for the better. Thank you.
So I wonder if I don't know the answer to this myself, if the crying, "Lord, help me," you didn't use the word Lord, did you? Probably not.
I think I used the word God.
Well,
Yeah, but it was just, my whole body was screaming. It was crying out, but it was inside, just like this poem. It was very sincere.
oh, so you didn't cry out loud?
No, I was in a mental hospital.
You were in one?
I was charting on a patient.
Oh, I see. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was about to step in and cross over the line and get admitted. That's the way I felt.
So it makes sense to me, if there's a spirit around, that if we cry from that place in us, that would move the spirit. For some reason, it's Lord for me, which I don't theoretically agree with intellectually. I more would like to have God as my friend, not my Lord. But I cried for many years, "Lord, help me." Mainly because I needed someone who was stronger and better and knew and could lord it over me and tell me what to do. And they don't, probably with you too, they don't come from a decision, right? It's like something deeper. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's more of an urge or a nudge that I feel when these things start to happen. And then I it's like I send it out, and then there's this period of time, and it could be as quickly as my friend showing up, or there's a period of time, but I'm in wait, I'm in stasis.
It's like TV now. You send out the waves, and there you are, Michael. There you are, Michael Ray. So that's one teacher of mine, Mircea Eliade, a famous comparative religion teacher, said that human beings are homo religiosus, that our basic nature, since we're made out of the universe, in our depth, is to cry for connection to the universe, not to know that we're not alone. And we really are children of the universe. And so maybe when we cry from that place, Joseph Campbell said, in the place where we're most alone, there's the world. Because that really lonely place which is hard to be with, we're really ultimately all connected to each other. But we have lost sometimes that connection with me trying to be a little bit more or a little bit less than I am. And so if that place speaks, cries, it would be like what you just told us. It could encourage, invite, create connection.
For me, what happens is I know now, because I'm more aware, that was 20 years ago. But what happens to me is a feeling takes me over, and I don't even know, but I feel disconnected from myself, is what happens.
Yep.
I don't feel connected. up, and it's usually emotionally that I feel that, and there's some feeling that's like a wave that's taken me over, and I can't honestly get out of it. I'm kind of in what I call maybe a reptilian brain. It's just taken me over. And I can understand how people can get taken over by feelings because I understand it now myself.
For better and worse, for me better, when that happens, it happens most days with me, it turns into a revelation. I think 2 days ago I was so glad there was a great spirit beyond me since I felt so messed up. Well, at least somebody whoever, that's what they do in 12-step program, right? If there's any being, even a monitor, anything, it's even anything outside of me, because I am messed up and I can't do it myself. And that feels very nice.
You know, that's exactly right, that there's something larger than me, but what if that
could be smaller?
What if that larger than me is not benevolent? That's the whole thing.
Oh. See, this is Cambridge, folks, so I was so happy, and that's a hard question. I mean, the Lord, I had my dear friend ask me, do you really believe in that stuff? You know, the Hebrew Bible, the Lord flooding everybody, destroying Sodom and Gomorrah, confusing humanity at the Tower of Babel, throwing us out of Eden. I mean, what's going on? Telling the Israelites, Moses, you can conquer, and Joshua especially, kill every man, woman, child, and ox in the promised land. Whoa! Among other things, right? Torturing Job just because he wants to find out if Job loves him for real. Welcome to relationships. So I, bad as I am, love this being the history of the Lord. I love a Lord that's in his own very awkward way is trying to grow better and better. After the flood, wiping out almost all humanity, said, I'm going to put a rainbow in the sky to remind myself next time I want to flood humanity. No, there's a rainbow. Do, like putting on your refrigerator, do not flood humanity. Honestly, this is in the Hebrew Bible. So I love a God like this. It's my kind of God. Someone once said, we all get the God we deserve. I want a God that is really learning on the job and really messes up and tries to be better because he's so bad.
I think that whatever this presence is, now this is think, I said think, but I also feel after years and years of studying awareness and being aware of my own self and consciousness, which is beyond the mind, because I wanted that. I wanted that in this particular incarnation. I feel like God is here. We are a part.
Mm-hmm.
We are
Well,
a
Quakers
spark.
say that. Quakers literally say that. The light of God is within, or a spark of God.
Yes. So then...
It's still your question. Is that spark good, or will that spark burn us? Is that spark good or bad?
Yeah, exactly. What is the interpretation? Is
I
it
think
a mental interpretation?
human history, Israel means to wrestle with God. The word literally. Human history is wrestling with this powerful nature spirit that, like nature, is very wild, will flood us, drought us, and so on. And slowly we learn to teach this nature spirit, or learn with it, to be better and better. And eventually in human history we got Jeshua saying that God loves us, right? That there's a loving nature deep, deep, deep inside. After all the struggles, you could find some love in there. Of course, even in the New Testament, you have God destroying much of humanity in the book of Revelation. Jung thought that was the shadow nature of God. So just as with ourselves, maybe even you, good as you are, there's a struggle to grow better through all our folly. And so it's not that God is good or bad. At least my God is on-the-job training, as it has been through Judaism, Christianity, Islam, and other traditions. On-the-job training. The Great Spirit didn't protect the American Indians. We might have to teach the Great Spirit more power, more ability to protect his people. So we're all learning. We're all co-creating with God. In some ways, Christianity.
I don't think God sets out to kill people. I don't think.
Well, that's because you're a nice person. See,
that's my
so
feeling.
you're not into the Hebrew Bible.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
So
at
you,
all.
but I think you.
I'm not into anything. I think that God is beyond the mind. That there's something way, way beyond the mind, and that anything that we're functioning off of.
But you have trouble then. If your God has control, look at the world. Have you read the newspaper? Have you had the courage to read the newspaper this year?
This year. No.
She hasn't. That's why she thinks this way.
No. It's not that. It's how do we cope with things? How do we react to things?
I mean, you have the classical dilemma. If you have an all good God, what's going on in this world? Well, but see, mine is better. I have a nature spirit, the great nature spirit, learning. With humanity's help, maybe we won't flood them this time. Maybe we won't drought them. That we're learning with nature's spirit.
I agree with that.
And that's much, and it includes there's such beauty and love there also. And maybe when we get rid of us, as with people, we can get through all the stuff that's in the way of something I think it's unformed yet. There's an unformed, loving, free energy. But when it's expressed, it can be expressed. That's the challenge. As you know, you have a beautiful voice. How to express it?
What about a system that says that the more that you align yourself and become aware of this incredible force that's of the universe, that runs the universe, the more that you do that, the more that you imbue yourself with that inner, that you feel like you are a vehicle for that force. Or I don't even call it a force. It's not really a force, but it's a feeling of the most incredible love, and it's a presence within you. What if one were to fill themselves with so much of this presence, so much of this love, and you felt it with people like Michael Campbell, you felt it with people like Dalai Lama. There are people.
I'm not so sure.
There are people walking around, and you can feel
They asked
presence.
the Dalai Lama about American foreign policy. He said, I think it's fine. Because he's been very helped by America. So that's you can have this wonderful feeling, and then the way you express it, which is part of it. Mm-hmm. As Gandhi was brave enough to write about it in his autobiography, Experiments with Truth. There's not just, anytime we think we or any being, including God, is all good and all loving, that there's that inside, but how to express it? I could feel all good and all loving and do something as I've done with so many women. That is really not, and you know yourself, you're a loving person. We won't ask you about your relationship history, but sometimes we do things that are very loving, and they're the worst things you could, and they're not apart. If we want to divide and say, okay, which is true of you, you have this extremely loving, free-spirited, talented, but there's also what you do, and they're connected. And if we can't handle the connection, then we, as one friend of mine does, then we say, okay, God is somewhere, He's all good, He is all good and loving, and the rest of the world is ruled by Satan.
So what if you removed everything that was standing in your way of your purpose to love God?
Yes.
What would that look like?
We have many people who say they do, and look at what they've done. Again, it's good you haven't read the newspaper. People who, God told me to, all kinds of things. I mean, all kinds of things. And we have a record of it in the Christian, in the New Testament, the Old Testament, the Islam. There's lots of killings. Hindus, wonderful Hindus with these wonderful, all these gods, Ganesh, who's part elephant, part human. What could be better? But there's lots of bad stuff comes from that too.
So
it's all connected.
So what is that? What I mean, is that just a mental view?
That's
mental
how we live.
view?
We have lived.
I know, but is it just one step up? Is our view of God just one step up from, where we are? So that we, here we are, and we're going along, and we said something to upset a friend.
Yes.
And okay, so we've said something
Or done stuff.
and there's this feeling inside of us that we want. It doesn't feel right. It feels
Yes,
uncomfortable.
yes.
It feels unbalanced.
I know it well.
It feels difficult.
Yes.
We want to get away from it.
Yes.
So we want to have a drink or a chocolate eclair or something.
Speak
but
for
we
yourself.
we want to get right,
Yes.
because you don't do food.
No,
I
I
do
used
food.
to overeat late at night. Yes. Oh, it was so nice. Yes.
but what so what are we doing? Just having a conversation with ourselves?
No, I think there's spirits around. I mean, in many traditions, there's your parents, your grandparents, and so on. All kinds of spirits. Or, you can feel the spirit of Martin Luther King or Jefferson. These are great beings, but King and Jefferson in particular, wow, some of the stuff they did was pretty bad. And I love it. Just like my God, Yahweh, or me, bad, but trying, probably because we're so bad, trying to be a little bit better.
So what if there was a way to have a more direct connection?
To what? Zeus? Yahweh? Who? Or Jeshua? I love Jeshua, but wow. Tough. If your eye offend you, pluck it out. No one does that, right? Or we won't even, I don't even want to go there now. But people, even the great people make many mistakes, and God makes many mistakes. Thank God. And the great gods know that, like my hero Yahweh, I won't flood the world again, realize they've made mistakes and say, I'm not going to do it again. And there's no all good, all perfect, it would be nice. That's part of us.
So you're saying that this Yahweh has the ability to actually create a flood. Is that what you're saying?
Well, let's do it another.
Nature?
Let's do
is
it. Yes.
Yahweh nature?
Yes. Let's just stick to reality. Floods happen all over the world, and there were in many of the mythologies. Floods happen. That the spirit of nature, not dividing spirit and nature, the spirit of nature, which means just if you want, since this is Cambridge, the energy field, that's nature. And we could feel it as a spirit. That's part of nature, and floods are part of it. Mm-hmm. And so, including us, you've got you, and then you've got the spirit of you. They're both very wonderful. But there's, as you know, we struggle to be a little bit better in our better days.
So what is the connection between, I'm going to play the devil's advocate here. What is the connection between pets and humans?
Pets? Nice.
What,
That's great.
Cats
The
and
devil's
dogs
the
and-
devil's advocate is so deep that most of us might not understand what she's asking. But
Of course, it's very simple.
that's great. We're having this great theological discussion, and she says, "Okay, now I'm really going to give you a hard question. What's the connection between my cat and what we're talking about?"
What is it?
What do you? Well, cats know. I mean, we could be the gods of the cats, right?
No, what I'm saying is when somebody comes home at night
Yes.
and opens the door, and there is this dog that comes totally adoring, totally.
Not my dog. My
loving.
dog sometimes hides because he's been in the garbage, and knows he's guilty.
I
and
know, but there's
and
a
my
connection
nice
there.
and
that
my
I'm trying
nice
to get
little
over.
cat Uni and Uma, they used to love catching mice, and they wouldn't just kill the mice, and have the nice little mice dinner with a little. They would love spending hours. Everybody's got their hobbies, torturing this mice, and they wouldn't let this mice die. They would keep biting it so it would come alive against it. So this is my beautiful cat Uni. I don't feel so bad now when I threw you out of the house onto the porch when you were 20 years old, because you did that, and they come home with birds in their mouth. And sometimes
Nature.
yes, these are these nice beings, but they have both like we do and like our gods do. And then it's all clear in some ways. And it's our job to work with